Hi, Jules. It's good to have you back. It's been quite a couple weeks since our last session. I do want to say before we get started, I have a pinched nerve in my back, so if I shift a little more today, you'll know why.
Okay.
But last time we met, and the couple times we've met, it's kind of been like a story unfolding of different things going on in your life, dealing with friends, and just bringing up different memories from the past. And we can continue that if you'd like. We can definitely go somewhere else. We're going to have about 30 to 35 minutes today. And so we can continue, or if you want to switch to something else, introduce something else, that's great.
Awesome. Yeah, sorry to hear about your back. Well, these last few weeks have been like crazy changes. I'm just gonna kind of get into it. I don't know, whatever comes with it will come, but this is what's been on my mind is my boyfriend and I. Okay, so we live with my mom. It's a fairly unstable situation. My mom is very all over the place. She has her own like substance use issues, and then also just like mental health issues. And on top of that, just like maintaining like balance is something that she's always struggled with. And it's been hard for us, and we do help with the bills because she can't really afford it on her own, and so she pays rent, we pay utilities, whatever. Well, she's always whatever. I don't even. There's so much to unwrap, but so recently, a couple weeks ago, found out that she had lost her job, but she lied about it, and she lied like to my face about it. And I understand like her rationale for lying, like she's embarrassed and she doesn't, whatever. And I understand. But that puts us in a pretty crappy position. Yeah. And there's also been a lot of other stuff going on living with her. I was kind of the final straw. So not this past weekend, but the weekend before that, that's when we found out that she had lost her job the previous weekend. Was dishonest about it. We decided, okay, we need to move out. So we found a place. We actually signed the lease today, and it's all been working out well. So I'm super excited and super happy for us and super proud of us. But with that comes like some guilt. I worry about my mom. I worry that she won't be able to maintain things without me there to help her. But I've come to realize I can't prioritize life like that. Like if I want to move forward and grow and focus on my own mental health, it's not happening there, and it's just not, and it sucks because I love my mom. It's like obviously like it's unconditional love, but you can only take so much. So, and I had a lot of anxiety about telling her, but I did. I told her it went over well, but I can tell that she is real anxious and just like worried because not only did she just lose her job, but like now she has more expenses coming up. And I know that kind of sounds like a dick move on my end, but I just didn't have a choice anymore. You know, I work too hard and I have too many responsibilities to where I need peace. When I need to go home to a peaceful place, because I mean, my mom has brought in many stray cats, so and that's like a lot for me. And it's just other things, just like her behaviors and just like knowing that she's using really freaking sucks. Because that was always a problem growing up, and she won't be honest about it. Like I could watch her doing it, and she would have an excuse. But that's always been like it's always been a theme throughout life. It's my mom using and then like not being honest about it, and then me like kind of trying to pick up the pieces, and it's been like real bad. Not like real bad because like if you didn't know, you wouldn't know. Okay. Unless you would, I don't know. But ever since my dad passed, which was in 2017, like it's just been a slow decline. Which since 2020, it's been even like more of a rapid decline. And I'm not saying that she's like doing horrible, but it's just like I feel like she's kind of falling apart in some aspects, but I have faith that this kind of will be a good opportunity for her. And like, I don't even address her use with her because I know she's not going to be honest, and I know that it's just going to be a waste. It's going to create some sort of divide between us, and I don't really want that. I'd rather just accept her for who she is and what she does, even though it hurts her and it hurts me and whatever. That's not my. I've had to come to accept that's not my place to intervene because I've tried and it doesn't make a difference. So at this point, I'm just like whatever. So in terms of like her just bettering her life all around, whether or not she's using, I do have faith that maybe this could be helpful to her because she would be so like dependent on my boyfriend and I. Because we're in our mid-20s, we need to move on, and it's not gonna happen as long as I'm staying there because if it's not one thing, it's another. And like I know that's always gonna be a thing, no matter where I'm at, who I'm with, what I'm doing. It's always gonna be issues popping up that I have to deal with. But like this is something I know I can change, and it feels kind of sucky right now because I love my mom and I am concerned about her, but I need to be more concerned with myself. So that's like and Friday was her birthday, and I did everything I could to like give her a good birthday. We went to the zoo, and like we're getting along, like it's great. And I think that our relationship will improve once we're not under the same household. But for now, like I just feel weird, and I have a pretty good feeling that like the first few days or week or two of living in the new apartment, which I'm so excited about, I'm gonna kind of maybe have a panic attack. Never had one before though, so I don't know. I always just hear like everybody's like, oh, when I moved out, I had a panic attack the first time. I'm like, okay, so I'm mentally prepared for that. But I signed the lease, so I can't back out. But it just came to us so naturally, this apartment, and we're so excited. A little anxious about the financial aspect, but if we can afford it, we would have pursued it. So, I mean, I know that's a lot. But other than that, like I know, like in the past I talked about friends, I feel like my social life has kind of improved. And I know that it will improve when I have a place where I can have people over because I'm a little embarrassed to have people over right now. There's always something going on at the house. So I do feel optimistic about my social life, and it has been improving. Also, I just think it's funny, like, as soon as it gets warm and nice and sunny, it's like, everything starts making sense. I'm like, hey, but yeah, that's what you want.
Yeah. So just thinking, just want to make sure I'm on the same page. So the big thing is we've got a couple big things going on, right? We've got deciding to move out from living with your mom, and you and your boyfriend are now going to get your own place. We have mom losing her job. We have the concern and thinking that she might be using substances again. And then we've got you looking forward to moving into the apartment, looking forward to a new step, a step of, it sounds to me, of working on setting more boundaries and separating yourself from your mom and realizing that you are responsible for you and your emotions and your health, and your mom is responsible for her and her emotions and her health. Like a healthy separation of two people.
Absolutely.
Right? And then together you can share hurt for one another. Like if she's hurting, you can understand that and maybe even hurt with her, but as an individual person, right?
Right.
So that sounds great. And then of course, you have your typical anxiety of a new thing happening, right? And there's different types of anxieties, right? Like super big ones, but then there's always those ones that are just natural when we're changing things.
Exactly.
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
For sure. And then I do hear your concern for your mom and just how her living situation will go as far as finances are going to be a little heavy on her. But I liked that I'm hearing confidence in your decision of moving out with your boyfriend, looking towards health and setting yourself up for more growth, which sounds very exciting and positive.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, with the anxiety thing, a lot of the anxiety over the past like week, because this has all been like a super quick process. Like, so the Saturday before this last one is when we kind of decided. We went on a hike together and we're like, this is what we need to do. And butted heads about, okay, where are we gonna live? Because him and I work like 45 minutes in opposite directions.
Okay.
So, I say work.
Yeah.
Work. Okay. And it was just like going back and forth, whatever. So we sat down, kind of, we're like, okay, let's look at our options. Because at first we were kind of wanting a house, and then we're like, whatever, it doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. So on that Saturday, we found a handful of apartments we'd be interested. We signed up for tours for all of them. For this one in particular, we were just like, oh my gosh, this one is perfect. And as soon as I scheduled the tour, one of the leasing managers, and I were emailing back and forth. She's like, well, what are you looking for? What's your budget? Yada, yada, yada. And I really liked how, attentive she was. And then Sunday morning, I was like, we just need to apply because this is a really good one and it's going to go quick. That was a leap of faith because it was a very, very steep application fee.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, whoa. Turn around, there is no security deposit, which is nice. Which also isn't nice upon move out, but whatever. That's next year's problem. So we ended up applying Sunday morning and toured it Tuesday evening. We were like, yeah, this is it. We had a little obstacles with getting approved. Everything was great except they ran a background check on my boyfriend and they found something from when he was young and took money out of a tip jar.
Oh.
And got in trouble. But that was they were able to override it and so we got accepted. So we found out Friday we were approved and then we signed the lease today. Okay. So now that the lease is signed, I feel and now I have a little less than 2 weeks to kind of get everything together, start packing. Excuse me. I'm taking a couple days off work to do all that. I have support coming from all directions. Even my mom, who I know is worried, she is being very supportive and she's very happy for me. She's very excited for me. And that's really nice to know. And because she understands, she knows what's up. I had something. What I was gonna say is, last year, it was July, August, we actually had moved out into an apartment that we loved. It was actually a block away from where we live now. We moved in, and the first night in there, we saw roaches. We didn't catch that in the tour or anything else. And I had even deep cleaned the whole apartment before we moved in. Nothing. I saw no traces, nothing. So that night that we saw the roaches, which was our first night, and luckily we hadn't unpacked yet, we just left. We left. I texted the landlord, I'm like, this isn't working. No. Because I was like, this shouldn't have been a thing upon move-in. So, we need our money back, and we got it back. So with that have happened, we had a little more knowledge about moving out, and we had already downsized a lot, and organized ourselves a lot, so it's going to be a lot easier this time. I'm just so excited. But, yeah, so, like I said, I know that the anxieties about it will come and go, and especially it'll be different once it's real, once we're in there. But now that the lease is signed, I feel such a relief. All day today, I'm when are they gonna send it? When are they gonna send it? Don't pull anything. and they sent it, and it's signed. We both signed it. It was like a DocuSign thing,
Yeah.
so it was electronic. I'm like, thank heavens. So I feel a lot better now, and I feel a lot more optimistic. And in terms of my mom, she has been through some shit forever, and there were points in time where it was her as a single parent with me, where she had to provide for me, and she still pulled through. So I have confidence and I have faith that she'll be able to. And if she doesn't, if something ends up happening, I need to remember that it's nothing that I could have done, you know, because as long as I live like that, like thinking that she's my responsibility, I will never move forward. Um, so that's been like the central theme of the last like week and a half. Not even like the last like 9 days. So, but my boyfriend and I are excited. It also involves a lot of trust between my boyfriend and I. Because we've lived together, but like I've been with the security of living at my mom's house. Now our name, like we are bound to a lease. We've been together for 8 years, but it's still like, even with all that on paper, like it's still a different kind of trust. Like in it, instead of like thinking like, oh, do I trust him? It's made me realize he trusts me this much, and he loves me this much, and he cares enough like to take this step with me. So that's felt really good. But yeah, it's been like a lot of like, I've just been going through the motions, like trying to figure everything out, and I really am so excited. But like I said, a little bit of anxiety. It's kind of coming and going. The biggest factor is just like worrying about my mom, but I have faith, and I think that's all I can have. So, yeah.
Yes, that is a lot. So, I definitely hear excited, and can definitely hear the relief of having it signed. That takes a weight off of your shoulders. It's one less unknown at this point, with a lot of different change. And I hear your concern for your mom, and also your just your faith that you've seen her do things in the past and pull through. I'm looking forward to seeing that again in the situation for her. And I also, listening to you, thinking through moving in with your boyfriend in an apartment, sounds like there's a feeling of deeper trust and acceptance that he has for you.
Yeah.
And that feels good to know, right?
Mm-hmm.
That he is putting his trust and faith in you, as well, right?
Yeah.
So that's a lot going on.
Yeah, and I definitely just had something surface. So we have a cat named Brownie, and we anticipated on taking, so we have Brownie and Ruby, and there's Dewey too, and then the other cats. But those are like the main three, the trifecta I like to call them. Dewey, I don't think we can take him to that apartment. I feel so sad for him because he loves like Ruby, but he gets on her nerves so bad. He's too wild for a 1-bedroom apartment. Like he will, like he would be the cat to get us evicted or something, for whatever reason, like burn the building down. But so we had planned on taking Ruby and Brownie. So Brownie has been super sick over the last year, and it's just like malnourished. Like he's lost so much weight, and he's weak. He doesn't have energy, and he is using the bathroom everywhere. That sucks. And it's been like especially bad like this past week, like really really bad. But it's not like he's not like wailing or like crying. Like he's still just Brownie, but like he's really not himself. So my boyfriend and I are wondering if it's time to like put him down. I've never had an animal put down, and I don't think he has either. Any pets that I have had pass. Sorry, it's this pop. Any pets that I have had pass, it's been either like natural or like accident or something. It's never been like me or us putting the animal down. And I don't know if that's just like selfish to put an animal down. I know he is in discomfort, and even the last time I took him to the vet, like the vet noticed that. Because, and the reason why I feel like is it selfish is because a big thing is I don't want to move into the apartment and him be using the bathroom everywhere, and I know that move will be really hard on him because day-to-day stuff is already a little tough on him. So, and he's an old cat. Like, we've had him for 7 years, and before that, he came to the house as like a stray cat, and he was an adult cat then. So, as far as I know, he could be like between 10 and 20 years old.
Okay, yeah.
So, I mean, he's not just like a kitten or anything, but I feel guilty because I feel like I know what we need to do, but it still feels wrong. Because everyone offered to like keep him at the house even after we moved, and I'm like, yeah, but then he's gonna be so depressed because he's so like attached to Travis and I, and I've just been so conflicted about it because, like I said, I've never had to put a pet down. I don't know like if it's the right or wrong thing to do, but he's pretty bad. He's doing pretty bad, and it just sucks. And I know it's gonna be hard. I just can't really come to a conclusion with it, and I wish that he could just pass naturally. I wish he didn't have to pass at all and wasn't sick.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm not super emotional about it right now. It's because like for the past however long that he's been sick, we've already cried so much. So it's a tough situation because like he could keep going. He could go another year. Like this time last year, we were like, we don't know how long he'll be. Like we'd be surprised if he makes it through the summer, and like he's still here kicking. So I don't know, but I don't want to watch him get much worse either. So that's been weighing on me a lot, and I kind of have been brushing it under the rug and keeping it in the back of my mind. I need to like, I think I need to like consult with the vet and see what they think. But like I said, I know that the move will be really tough on him, and just that adjustment, it won't be easy. And yeah, that's been on my mind the past few days, and like I don't know, and I feel even worse because I have like I'm not crying about it or anything. I feel like I should be, like I feel wrong for not, but yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, that is a lot.
I feel like he knows that we're like thinking about it, but I don't know. Such a sweetie.
Yeah. Yes. And it is hard to think about losing a pet, and it makes sense. It makes sense to not cry yet because there's a lot of hope. Maybe he'll get better. Maybe I won't have to make this decision, or maybe it will be the right thing. And I'll be able to rest in that decision. So all these different thoughts. It makes sense that you're not crying right now, and then I want to kind of zoom out a little bit on everything you've just been sharing. And there are a lot of emotions in here. So there are positive things and exciting things, but there are some deep concerns. There's deep concerns for your mom. You've got worry there. You have the anticipation of moving and something new. And while there's positives, if we zoom out, I'm kind of seeing a tornado of emotions.
And that's how it feels.
And so with that, I mean, we see glimpses of the good ones coming by, and then we see the bad ones.
It's like what is that? Like Wizard of Oz?
Or
they're like flying by in the window.
And sometimes if it's an actual tornado, we take cover, right? We go down and buckle down and wait for it to pass. And sometimes that's what we can start to do mentally and emotionally because there's so much, right? Yeah. And so it makes sense that it's going to take time to sort through some of these. And it's going to make sense that when you think you process one and you're going on to another one, that other one's going to come back, right?
Yeah.
And that totally makes sense with everything that's going on. There's a lot happening. And so being excited feels the best. So that's
Yeah.
one
And that's
that,
like the hope I'm holding on
yeah,
to. Yeah.
that helps. But also we want to be careful that we want to balance the correct amount of excitement, but not let that become the carpet that the other emotions get swept under.
Yeah,
right?
definitely. I like that metaphor a lot. I've been trying to bring all of the emotions to light as they come. Like I spent a good few hours, I think it was last Monday, just like crying. Just about it all. Just like overwhelmed tears.
Yeah.
And then, another thing that's been like surfacing lately is like a lot of like childhood stuff has been coming back. Like, I don't want to call it trauma, but like just a lot of like not great things that have happened in my childhood. They've been starting to kind of resurface. I'm like, I don't know. I'm kind of into like astrology and stuff like that, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm not into it enough to know what anything is or why or whatever. So I don't know, like I just think it's fun, and I guess maybe it's also just me taking a big step, like moving more into adulthood, that these unhealed things are coming up, and it's just like random little things, but those have been popping up like crazy lately, like more than ever, because I've always like known, but I've never like, I guess I've always kept them below surface. And a lot of that's been kind of emerging lately, and just like overall just being super emotional about everything. So it's just been weird. Like it's definitely been a weird couple of weeks, but I've kind of maintained a good equilibrium, and like I don't feel defeated by it. Like I don't like I feel like good. I feel for the most part pretty good, but I am aware that there are some like negative emotions that I'm not even like calling them negative necessarily, because they're just real. Like they're just natural. It's just like the side effects of life.
Yes.
So all of that like wrapped together has been a lot. Like I said, like last week was tough, especially like Monday, Tuesday, before I like was able to talk to my mom in confidence about it. That was real bad. Like I left work early last Monday, and I was just like, it's great because like my team is so understanding of like if I say I'm having a bad mental health day, they're like, go home. Like,
oh, that's great.
Yeah, and that's so nice. It's like a luxury. So I feel like now that that's not the way, I can kind of breathe. Next couple weeks are gonna be weird because now it's gonna be the start packing. It's also weird because like this is the house, like, because we moved around a lot, like I mean still within the same areas, but we've moved houses to houses all my life. Like that was always normal, but we have been in this one the longest, and these have been my most formative years. We moved there when I was 13, and I'm 24 now. Like that's like a crazy like time span. It's gonna be weird to leave Waynesville because we're moving into Centerville. It's a little more urban, I would say. Because Waynesville's so it's like a village. It's like Yellow Springs, but like conservative. That's what I always say. It's like conservative Yellow Springs. So that's gonna be weird. I do feel it's just so bittersweet, but mentally, I have been longing for this for a while now, and no matter when it would have happened or how it would have happened, I would be dealing with the same emotions, but I feel a little more level-headed now going into it. So yeah, I've thrown all types of stuff at you.
Yeah, well, that's okay. I mean, if it's in, let's get it out, right?
Yeah.
And make sure that it's a big process in a healthy way. Yeah, absolutely. So, I just want to explore a little more, even talking about feeling pretty balanced. So, what does balance mean to you, or what have you been doing to have that balance? Can you kind of explain to me more what that means when you say that.
I'm like thinking, I'm like, what have I been doing? Well, I mean, I'm still, cause like in the past when I had been overwhelmed by emotions, I would just like retreat. Like I would just like I'm still taking care of my business. Like I'm still getting work done. Still like maintaining my obligations, and just letting myself have those moments where I need to let the emotions out, and then still being able to move forward positively. Um, Still get some socialization in. I've been spending, more time with family and talking and being more vulnerable. Because another issue I have is like I don't want to say I keep secrets, but like I don't tell people things. Like I really don't. And so through this, I've allowed myself to like talk to people and be open and talk to my friends and let them know what I'm dealing with and what I'm going through. And it's brought me and my friends a lot closer to each other because they feel comfortable doing it with me. So I should feel comfortable with them, and I have become more comfortable about it. So that's been nice. I mean, obviously, there's still improvements I would like to make in my personal life, but right now I'm just focused on this move, and wrapping up the semester, which has been really smooth. Knock on wood.
That's good to hear.
Anyway,
Pretend wood in the air here.
Knock on whiteboard. So I've just been focused on wrapping up the semester. Kind of like compartmentalizing my thoughts, like in terms of what I need to do before this move. And I've kind of like set out like a game plan for myself because there is a lot to do. Like moving is like a big thing, and so I've just been like doing that. And because every move that we had growing up, it was like us getting evicted or something, or like us having to move last minute and like scrambling. I don't want that to be this.
Right.
I don't want that to be the case. So I'm gonna like make time to do it in steps to where it's a smooth process. So yeah, I feel like I've talked about it so much over the past like I haven't even like verbalized it. I've just been like it's just been running through my head. So like it feels good to get it all out, and I know I'm just gonna keep talking about it like later. But
yeah, that's fine. That's what we need to do for
yes.
sure.
Does this have caffeine in it? No, it says caffeine free. This just must be my nerves.
Well, there's a lot going on there. I know I keep saying that. It's kind of what I keep saying.
Oh, well, it's true.
So I want to revisit earlier. You talked about. Oh no, about to lose it. Oh goodness. You were talking about your. Oh yes. So you were talking about. It was in the midst of talking about trying to be excited about the move and concerned about your mom, but getting to the point of she said she can take care of herself, right? She's done it in the past. And then you went on to talk about how there's a lot of different childhood things coming up.
Yeah.
And that seems really normal to me with the things that we've been talking about in other sessions, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I just heard you connecting that. Well, okay, I think, and you can tell me if this is right. I think I see a connection also in since you moved a lot as a child and you're about to move. That seems to make a lot of sense that childhood memories will be coming up because those are two things that are almost identical as far as packing and moving.
I wouldn't have thought of that. Also, like metaphorically speaking, like I feel like I'm unpacking mental stuff while I'm packing in like real stuff, like clothes and stuff. So I didn't think of it like that. Because that could be true. That could be part of it. Also, just moving closer to the area where some of like a lot of my childhood, like I spent time in, closer, like just further north. That's a whole, that's a whole other thing. Because I haven't even like fully like dove into the childhood stuff, and that would have to be like a 3 hour thing, like a session if I'm talking about it. But that makes sense, and I'm not like fighting those thoughts. I'm just kind of letting them come and being aware of them and being aware of. I have to just stay present. That's my biggest thing through all this is just staying present. Like what is in front of me literally right this second, and what is in my control right this second. Not tomorrow, not in 2 weeks, not way back then, right now.
Yeah.
So that's been like what's been keeping me mostly sane. It's just like all I can control is what I can control. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And you know, when different memories come up, or different emotions, or sometimes together, you had mentioned kind of that emotions are like a side effect of life.
Yeah.
But I would say probably more than that. This is gonna sound funny, but they're kind of the helpers of life.
Yeah.
Because when they're there, they're drawing our attention to something. And then it gives us time to look and see, like, okay, what kind of attention do I need to give this? How much? How little? Is that really something I need to give attention to? Or, well, it's in passing, right? So they're almost more helpers. But I'm glad to hear you say that you're working on being in the present. Because there's so much going on right now.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of emotional energy to try to look at all of those different memories and emotions and go, okay, what do I need to do with that right now?
Right.
And it's best to work in those in a safe place, working with a counselor, doing that slowly, unpacking slowly. If you unpack too fast, then you can get extreme overwhelm, right? And we don't want that in any of our lives. That gets to be really difficult. And I was just thinking, I see that we have about 10 minutes left. But I know at the end of our last session, it was kind of a goal to do some journal entries, either audible on the phone or try one written one, could be short or long. And I just wondered, have you done that? I'm especially thinking about everything that's going on. Like,
I have been.
Experience with that?
Well, when I need to talk, but I don't want to talk to a person, I just pen and paper. Pen and paper is like, I love it. Even just like organizing my thoughts, like because I'm just that kind of person. Like, oh, what am I doing today? I need to write down every single thing. So it's been nice to take that to my emotions instead of just like a task list. I've been doing some journaling. It's not necessarily like prompted or like I'm not necessarily like gratitude journaling or affirmations. I'm just putting it down. It's just conscious stream on paper. Write as much as I feel like I need to. That's it. So it's been helpful, and it's helped a lot through this process. I've been finding myself writing a lot more. So
well, that's great. I'm glad you're finding it helpful.
Yeah.
And there's all different kinds of journaling. It's like last time we mentioned, there don't have to be rules for journaling, right? Sometimes we get in our minds that there's rules.
Yeah. That's my thing. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I am such like I don't know if I'm it's like OCD or something, but like in my brain, like I feel like I make rules to everything, and like that's something I've also been trying to let go of is like just go with the flow, like just go with the flow. And so, because like when I had journaled in the past, I kind of made rules, like I need to include this and make sure this is in there or else it's not right. I'm like, it's freaking journaling. Like I just need to like no. And it's funny because I was writing my journal the other day. I was like kind of telling a story, and I'm like, I literally wrote, I'm like, I don't need to include all these details. This isn't a book. And I'm like, and then I just moved on to the next thought. So that's I like that you mentioned that because it's real.
Well, it's great that you did that. I love that.
Because that's what takes the fun out of it, or like the benefits away from it is when you have rules. Like it's journaling. Like who cares? At least that form of journaling. I know there's other forms, but
yeah. Yes, absolutely. also with journaling, I'm glad to hear you say you're starting to realize, I don't have to write it all. I know in my life experience of trying to journal, and when I was younger, I always heard journaling's so good, and do it handwritten, and I liked writing, so through the years I tried to journal, and I was never consistent.
Yeah.
And in the last several years, I realized I was not consistent because I was making rules in my mind of what it was like, and instead of using it as a tool to help me deal with emotions or get thoughts out and just get things out and then realize how to organize them. Like you said, organize your thoughts. Like, oh, this is so helpful. Instead, I had these rules of, and I thought, well, I have to write the whole story of the last week and then put in my emotions.
Yeah,
exactly. And then I never got to the emotions because I was just too tired.
Yeah, that's exactly how it was for me, because I was the same way. Like, I wanted to journal for so long, and like I never did, because that right there, like, exactly hit the nail on the head with that one, because like I just, like, my hand starts cramping by the end of the story, and that's why I stopped myself the other day, and that's why I wrote, because, and I don't ever go back. I write with the intention of maybe one day I'll look back at these. I never have. I don't. So I was like, even if I do go back and read these, like, I'll know like what I was doing in this time, and that's why I wrote, like, I don't need to write this. This isn't a book, and I just like chuckled at myself and then kept going.
Yeah.
But yeah. Sorry, I'm so antsy. I just have like so much like built up. I feel like I'm usually more like, no, not today. Also, the sunshine is like amping me up. It's awesome. I'm so happy. And the apartment has a pool. I'm so excited.
Yes. That is very exciting. Very exciting. So we're kind of getting to the end of time here, and just I'm gonna kind of summarize the whole session here, real brief. Okay, so I'm gonna miss things because it's just a short summary. But big things happening for you. There is moving out from under living with your mom to you and your boyfriend getting your own place. There's all different kinds of emotions with that. There's excitement about it. There's that feeling of he's doing this with you, right? Camaraderie and trust, acceptance with one another there. You have concerns for your mom and just how life is going, lost her job, which that's great, that makes you human.
Yeah.
And then you're also working on just really taking a healthy point of view and where are your boundaries and making decisions that are for your health, right? Like you're making decisions that are not steeped in selfishness, it's steeped in who am I, who do I want to become, and what are the healthy things that I know will help that. So that's great. And then we got all kinds of tornado emotions. We have this poor cat who's sick and just working through that. Great idea to talk with the vet. I mean, that's going to be one of the best people to
if anyone knows,
help you with at least the health aspect of it. Yep, absolutely. And then moving. You've got a plan, which sounds good. Trying to do it step by step. And childhood memories coming up. It's completely natural with everything that's going on.
Yeah.
You know, and staying in the present for now.
Yeah.
And eventually, if those emotions and memories need to be dealt with, do them a little at a time.
Yeah.
We don't want to burn yourself out, overwhelm you, make you feel completely exhausted. And that can happen if you try to go too fast, right? With some of those. So it's fine to say, yep, I know they're there, and I'm going to take care of the present right now, and eventually I'll attend to those if I need to, if they continue to remain, right? So journaling has gone well for you. That's exciting.
It's like the best journaling experience I've had in my life thus far, because I finally just let go and just wrote, and I'm like, it feels so like beneficial now.
That's great. That's great. I have heard from different colleagues. One calls it the type of journaling brain dumping, which sounds kind of like what you're just gonna dump it out. Like doesn't matter what's there. You don't have to explain it. We're just dumping out what's there. And one of my counselors in the past years talked about brain dumping, and one thing that she recommended is make sure you do it at least 3 hours before bed or earlier, because you want to be able to get it out. There's going to be emotions with that. And if you do it too close to bed, then it's going to be hard to fall asleep. So that was a good.
I've never thought of that, because I usually do it right before
Right
bed,
before
and I've
bed.
had a hard time sleeping.
See, and I mean, it probably could be 2 hours before bed too, but a
Yeah.
nice chunk of time to get it out, process it, but then, be able to go to something that's more calming, something that's just a self-care thing, or just
I
conversation
do it
with
before like my
friends.
shower, whatever.
Yeah, you give time in between.
Yeah.
So that's great. And then another type of journaling that I have just started trying myself. So you don't have to try it, but I'll just explain it to you. It's actually this, I forget her name right now, but it's the doctor who suggested it. And she calls it expressive writing, which kind of made me laugh because it was like
Creative writing.
class.
Yeah.
But no, actually, so she says this is trying to get into the raw that is there. Like, you're supposed to, it takes time to get used to it. It took me several times before I was like,
Yeah.
kind of doing this. And so you're supposed to just, when you're feeling an emotion, just grab a piece of paper, or if you have this time to come and bring it up later, you grab a piece of paper and you're just gonna kind of like let out what's there. And sometimes it's actually writing words. And the goal is to let it be kind of more of your subconscious brain. Don't think about the grammar and the spelling of the words, and really get the emotion out. And she said sometimes after you look at it, it's all scribbles. She didn't actually write any words, or just some scribbles there.
It's like doctor handwriting.
But then the goal is you're getting raw out. If you're thinking curse words, get the curse words out.
It's like in the moment, like.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the goal is you're doing this in a safe place where no one is going to hear you.
Yep.
And when you're done, you either shred or burn that paper. No one ever sees it. This is not a journal entry where someone might accidentally come across it. And typically when you're doing it, if you had to describe your face and your body actions and even your words to someone else, you'd be really embarrassed. Because the goal is get it out. Get it out where no one else can see it.
That sounds neat. I think I would be willing to try it. I'll look into that.
And if it doesn't work the first couple times, it makes sense. For
because
me,
we're so used to like.
just make it work.
Yeah.
This is class assignment, I'm gonna do it. This is not a class assignment.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I love that you're journaling, and I would say keep doing what works for you. If you want to try the other kind, great. But right now there's so much going on. You just want to stick with the one you know is working.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything else, or else I'll talk for another 4 hours.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. We
You're
pause
like,
here.
keep that.
Yeah. And if we talk about too much at once, then even just this gets exhausting, right? Like
Right,
much
exactly.
just kind
So
of
no, it
drains,
feels really good to get it out because like I've just been acting and obviously we've been talking about it, but like not like everyone has bias, so
Right.
it's nice to.
Great. Dump
Yes.
where no one's gonna find out.
Exactly.
I don't know the people involved.
Exactly.
So,
Thank
safe,
heavens.
safe place, right? Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, well, that is this. It has been
Final
great.
session.
I know it's been great being with you as the final session.
Yeah.
But yeah, if if as those emotions might come up, those memories that we're just staying in the present for right now, if they start coming up, think about going to another counselor.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
So yeah, just take care of yourself. Right?
Awesome.
Do what you need. Just like you're doing. You're making choices for your own health. So
Well, thank
that's
you,
great.
and thank you for listening.